To this short overview demo of the CARA user interface for the Oracle WebCenter content management platform. CARA interface and configuration layer brought to you by Generis, an Oracle Gold partner. CARA provides a highly functional and ergonomic user experience for Oracle WebCenter, which not only allows fast multitasking for users, but adds many features and functions that are simply not available in the native user interface. On top of this, the CARA configuration layer allows customers to build out use cases without having to do any coding, which greatly reduces cost of deployment and maintenance. The demo will show you many of the key features of CARA, including the multi-window multitasking, the widgets, the dimensions, and some areas of configuration. What is worth noting, however, that what you see in the demo is just one flavor of CARA. CARA can be deployed as a spectrum of options, from a full browser application, a portal, a mobile application, or even a simple widget embedded on another web page. Please contact us in one of the following ways if you would like a full demo, or to arrange for a free evaluation, which can either be on your servers. Thank you.
This is the CARA main application, and it's being run here in a Google Chrome browser window, and as you can see, you get a login screen, and as part of that login screen you get to choose your language, and there are a number of existing languages and a number of existing color schemes, including one that is for partially sighted or blind users, and also a number of different user experiences which we will show you later on in the demo. The full desktop experience, though, ends up giving you a Windows desktop-like view inside your browser window. So if I minimize the window here again inside Chrome, you'll see that I actually have a Windows desktop-like experience with a start menu from where, if I'm a system administrator, I can run some configurations. I can open up windows. These windows can actually be maximized or minimized down to a button. And as part of the desktop experience, you can actually move and resize all the windows, including opening up multiple windows at the same time. And this is where the multitasking really comes into play, as people very rarely work on just one single thing at once. But here I could, for example, navigate down to two different folders in the two different windows, and I could look at documents side by side. I can right-click and choose to see the properties of one document and open that up in one window, and again resize and perhaps view the properties of another document by the side of that. And you'll see here that I have multiple windows built up with little buttons in the taskbar where I can switch between them. And each window is totally self-controlled, so it doesn't break the application to have multiple windows open. And I can do things, for example, in this window, this is a test of the voice recognition. So I can record some text in order to add some attributes, I can change some fields, I can go back and do different things inside my Explorer windows. So you're able to have a whole variety of multitasking activities going on at the same time. Inside one single window, you have a navigation area where obviously you have your folders from the repository, and you can click to move between the documents. You also have a set of columns, and these columns can be resized by the user, so they can drag them to resize them. Everything that I do as a user, including dragging and dropping columns to new positions, or perhaps showing and hiding columns by just clicking to add them and clicking to remove them from the set that I've been allowed to choose. All of this is saved as a user preference for me as the user. So next time I log in, the system remembers how I like to view the system. And that includes a list view and thumbnails view, should I be using those. All of these features, including the search screen, the dimensions, the widgets, things which we haven't yet touched on in the demo, are governed by a group of settings called a document view. And you'll see here that I'm in a contracts folder and I have some contract information, but perhaps if I clicked in a different folder, I would still have the contract columns, but they're no longer of interest to me because these are a different kind of document, so I can simply switch view and see some more relevant information. So these views could either be given to the users to select or perhaps defined by department or role on the system. On the screen itself, you see a list of columns, and obviously you can right-click on a document and do the standard activities of content management, such as check-in, check-out, starting workflows, exporting, deleting, viewing a document, and so on. And inside the panel on the right-hand side, called our Widgets panel, we've built the ability for users to see additional information about a document. So I could choose from a number of default widgets here, the properties, locations, and versions. And now as I click on each document, you'll see that these update and show the latest information on whatever I'm selecting. So within a single click and less than a second, I'm seeing information that normally takes multiple screens to find. And these widgets again can be repositioned by the users. They can export the information to Excel, collapse the widgets, right-click to access various pieces of information or actions from the widgets. And most interestingly and importantly for the users, you can actually build a set of custom widgets. So these custom widgets could be any query or web service based information that may connect to another Oracle system, for example, to pull up information from a clinical trial database system or from a JRE SAP type system or similar. So this widgets panel shows a lot of information. We also built a different way of navigating. So instead of the standard folders based approach, or perhaps going via shortcuts such as a list of your checked out documents and things like that, we built this feature called Dimensions. This allows you to select a number of attributes which you'll use to actually navigate the repository. So I could say I would like to navigate according to security group and then author, and I have a folder tree now with security group values, public and secure, and underneath those author values. And if I click on those, you'll see that I get the documents that relate to James Kelleher public or Grant Slender public. And if I click up on public, I actually get a list of all of the documents that relate to public across all authors. So the tree is recursive as you go up the tree. And tomorrow I might want to see things according to file format and then according to security, and then maybe a third level of type. And I would simply select these options, click save, and I have my new dimensions tree. So I've got all of my Word documents together, public, and according to whether it's an application or a document type. So the dimensions becomes an extremely important way of both navigating and to some degree replaces the standard search that users might do, for example running a quick search up here, in which case they get the result in their search results, or even running an advanced search where they would select from certain types and certain properties in a traditional way and enter multiple criteria and look for different kinds of documents using this type of search. So this search still has its place, particularly for more complex criteria, but the dimensions become an important way of navigating and searching the repository more easily. Again, the multiple windows comes in useful here, and you'll see if I say authors contains James and then I run the search, that I get my search results over here in my other window, and then I can go back and actually replace that with different information according to how my search results look. What a user might do day to day on the system is they may create documents, obviously they may edit documents, send them on workflows, so we could have a little look at some of those. One of the things I might instinctively do is to select a folder in which to start creating a document, and I'd hit to create a new document. You'll see that I'm asked to classify the document. We allow you to classify using a series of attribute drop-downs, and this then drives the entire behavior in CARA. So it's not tied to a single object or document type, But for example, I would select it for the profile, and that would give a property screen, a different behavior, different security, and so on. So I could select to create a new public contract document. I have a number of options. Again, all of this is configurable, so I could import, in which case I get the option to import a document. I could create from a template, in which case if there is a template I'm able to select it. But perhaps for now I'll just create a blank document and select next, and I get a property screen. And again, this is the title of the document, so I can enter some criteria here. You'll see that I have some attribute fields, I have some text fields, I have some date fields. So we have lots of different types of fields available. We'll show you the configuration for that shortly. But once this information is completed, we can simply save and close. If I show you the creation process, selecting a different type of document from the drop-down, so standard, and then let's say secure, and document again, and we go for a blank and click next, you'll see that we now get a completely different attribute screen. So it's actually got the ability to show and hide fields based on certain criteria on the document. At this point, I will switch to some of the configuration behind the scenes to show how that looks. We have a number of configurations such as user capabilities, which work together with the view management to define what a user can actually see. So here is a complete list of all the features in the application, and these can be switched on and off according to different groups, including all of the configurations themselves. So you could simply add a different group and you would be able to see this particular group of users would have certain menu items available to them. Coupled with that is the document view, which we mentioned earlier, and the document view allows you to specify a whole range of things for the users. So this runs from which columns are available, including the default sort order, the number of items per page, to various filters. So the user could actually say, just show me binary documents, and that would then filter the view, and nothing there is binary, so that's not showing anything. And you simply create a small piece of query to apply those filters. Defining which properties are available in the widget, defining which properties are available for the dimensions that we looked at. Are there any new item shortcuts? So I don't just click new document, but I could say I'd like to actually create a new specific kind of document with a single click. What does my inbox look like? What does my search look like? What do my widgets look like? And even down to what does my double click do? So there are a whole range of behavior and view settings available in that view configuration. We then have a number of configurations that deal with behind the scenes, and we're not going to show all the configurations in this, but we have of dictionaries, so you could set up a list of document types, perhaps with an abbreviation, even perhaps with aliases according to language code, so that if I logged in Japanese, I would see a list of Japanese types in my drop-down. And these dictionaries can then be tied together in taxonomies. So these taxonomies will allow you to create, for example, a relationship here between these three dictionaries, and those three dictionaries have a relationship that is shown here, so that value 1 from dictionary A has certain sub-values from dictionary B, and so on for dictionary C. So you can create those relationships and use those in searching or in property screens and things like that. Based on your taxonomies, you then drive a number of what we call classification configurations. And these could be things like saying that if I select to create a standard public document, that it should create not a document object, but a controlled document object. And I should also have a different property screen that I use for the different life cycle, different templates, and so on applied to. In addition to that, I may want to set certain values to become mandatory at certain parts of the tree. I might want to initialize certain values so that you can specify certain attributes will be inherited, certain attributes will be cleared, certain will be created based on who I am as a user. I could even generate automatically based on a range of parameters using the auto values configuration. There is then a second set of configuration types which are based on a category, and a category is essentially any query-based collection of documents, and as part of that category you may set, for example, that it's automatically linked to a particular folder, or that it's automatically got a certain security applied to it, or certain audit rules. And a quick look here at our properties configuration. So these are the property screens that we saw, for example, and it's very easy to modify certain things. So I could say that I'd like to have this in red font, so I just simply put a small HTML tag in there, and then I would be able to see that displayed in red on the screen. And I'm going to add a little field set to group these together so that they look a little nicer. And I'll call it stuff, for lack of a better term, and I'll drag and drop these two properties onto there and save this. And if I now, without having to redeploy the system, without having to even ask the users to log in and log out, the user can go to a document, and I could right click on the properties, and you'll see here that it's now in red, and there's a box called stuff outlining that. So that's how dynamic the configurations can be. In addition to all the standard features, CARA also fully supports the Oracle folios, content folios, or virtual or complex documents. If I can find one here with an existing structure. So you see here that we have a structure, and one of the interesting things about how CARA is built is that I can actually drag and drop things around without having to check in, check out. And unlike a traditional folio in WebCenter, this is a multi-user environment, so we actually do the check in, check out of the XML files behind it on the server so that multiple users can work concurrently on the same structures. Allows the ability to work in a, let's say, submission structure in life sciences, or a clinical report structure, or something like that. And of course, under each node on the structure, you would then have content assigned to that, which you can see here on the right hand side. We also support we support both the native WebCenter workflows as well as our own CARA workflows. The CARA workflows allow you the ability to select from predefined templates, to build the templates more easily, to add steps, to define notifications, emails based on certain rules, such as is due in 5 days, notify the recipient and me, and send a reminder every day. So there's a lot of configurability around the kind of tasks and workflows available in the CARA workflows. But effectively, they perform the same kind of tasks as standard workflows. You're able to also then view a summary of tasks across documents, as you are in fact able to view a summary of status, audit trails, or even annotate. There are dashboards that you can build to display reports. So there is a lot more available in CARA that we would be happy to demo if you were interested in contacting us for an evaluation or demo. Thank you.